Hello and welcome to another episode of Northside Now. This is the podcast where we take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. My name is Patrick, and with me as always are my co-hosts, Glenn Miller and Kevin Bryant.
Hello.
Hey guys.
What's up?
Hey.
Well, I guess we are prophets.
Not very good ones.
Not very good ones.
You can just take what we say and the opposite, and you're good to go.
But
Hey.
we told you there'd be a change with Tom Brady, and by golly, we were right.
Yep. It's the same change he announced last year.
Yeah. It's like Groundhog Day all over again.
A lot of people were confused because it's in it on the same actual day, February 1st.
February 1st.
Like, what? Is this just a retweet of last year?
Yeah.
Or
The Patriots actually did just retweet their tribute from last year. I thought it was hilarious.
That's funny.
So we called that. We're not very good what do they call them?
Prognosticators.
Prognosticators for, we wouldn't be very good in Vegas, though, I'm afraid.
Nope. Not a good gambler.
We would have lost your money if you'd have used our bets for who was going to be in the Super Bowl.
I really thought it was going to be 49ers and the Bengals.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I never count out my boy, Trey Smith, good old USJ guy, Kansas City Chief. I cheer for him.
Yeah. So it is going to be the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Which we hope the Chiefs just run all over them like a
Well, no, we'll see.
I'm just there for the commercials, right?
Yeah. That's all it is for me.
It does become a point. Where's this? I'm just there for the commercials.
You know, I would love for it to be a decent game because I don't feel like we've had that in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the game with the Bengals and the Chiefs, I thought was a watch this to the end game.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know exactly what was going to happen. At least I felt like. And I think that's probably the only, this is sad to say, I guess, for me, but the only game I've watched the whole thing through this whole season.
I haven't watched many of them. I think I've watched more early on than I have lately.
I maybe watched the UT Alabama game.
Well, I've watched a lot of college football this year.
So that's something.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to this conversation.
This is when we give you a break.
Yeah, thank you.
This would be a restroom break.
I'm pretty sure the Super Bowl is like the only NFL game I watched the entire year.
Yeah.
Well,
And again, it's mostly for the commercials, and I like to rag on the halftime show.
Oh, who is halftime show this year?
Rihanna.
But I also heard
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
The guy,
I don't know. There's usually a few of them.
I think they're doing like some pregame. You know, they have like the pregame all day long kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think there's some of the bigger named country artists were talking about getting some of that time. I don't know. Yeah, so I didn't know who was the halftime show.
I think the national anthem is Stapleton.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, that'll be cool.
I think he's doing that.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking of. You know, we really would have messed you up, so don't listen to us when it comes to that.
Definitely.
So. But when it does come to Super Bowl halftime ads, there's a group called He Gets Us.
I'm glad you brought this up.
You know, we've gotten used to what the Doritos commercials and the beer commercials with the girls that are not all dressed and all the crazy commercials, what was it, GoDaddy and some of those over the years. But this year, there's a group called He Gets Us that is really putting in some Christian-based commercials this year.
I've been seeing all their ads pop up on like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
I definitely think they are provocative in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. And I think their approach is sort of surprise you with a religious connection.
This is what their website says. It says, He Gets Us is a movement to reintroduce people to the Jesus of the Bible and his confounding love and forgiveness. We believe his words, example, and life have relevance in our lives today and offer hope for a better future. And it really, looking at it, it looks like they're really targeting people that kind of have more of a negative opinion of church or have been hurt by the church in the past or have not felt accepted by the quote-unquote church, the institution of the church.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's really cool.
You know, it can be a challenge to find common ground these days amidst political polarization and ongoing pandemic recovery. You know, Americans are stressed and divided. We definitely see that in our area here in West Tennessee. Our neighbor in Memphis, you know, we just had some horrible news happen down there and with some stuff going on there. And that, you know, started dividing people and some protests and stuff, but they were all pretty under control. And, there is division and stuff amongst churches and church world about how we should do this. And, it seems like church denominations are imploding, and you start hearing people talking about these words called deconstruction in the Christian music world, where all of a sudden these people just aren't Christians anymore. They totally have turned their lives a different direction. And there is a lot of that. So I think to use this platform for us to talk about truly the thing that gathers everybody, and it's not the thing, it's the one. And it's Jesus.
And I think that's exactly right. And it seems to be what they're trying to get at too, is that Jesus experienced the challenges and emotions that we feel.
Sure.
And so many times, whether you've heard it from friends of yours or just in general, that Christians are so hypocritical. They're so holier than thou. They don't feel real emotions. They don't get me. Their point is in this campaign is that Jesus does get us. And they're trying to, from what I've read at least, provide a safe place to ask the questions, especially the tough ones, but that Jesus was open to people that we feel like, he might have excluded, but his message went out to everybody. And even though you see religious people as hypocritical, which, by the way, Jesus saw that too.
Yeah, exactly.
And he didn't like it either. Jesus taught that radical compassion and standing up for people that are marginalized is super important. And that's, I think, what this campaign seems to target. And I'm really encouraged by it.
Yeah. I heard this analogy once and I really like it, that it's like when you hear a piano player play a Beethoven piece really badly, you don't blame Beethoven. You blame the player. So when you see a Christian playing Christ poorly, you don't blame Jesus. So I think that a lot of people get turned off of Jesus because of things that the church does or Christians do. They see that hypocrisy. But we don't need to blame Jesus for another human's, flaws. Or
we had a great conversation before the actual microphones were turned on. I think it's up to each of us as individual Christians to make sure that when we're having these conversations with our friends, with our coworkers, with whoever we come into contact with, that we're making it clear that we are not the perfect ones.
Yeah, exactly.
That you might see something in me that makes you think I don't want to be a Christian, but it's not really about me.
Yeah.
It's really about Jesus that is better than me and wants to have this relationship with you. And that's hard to do because then it makes us have to be selfless instead of selfish and lots of different things. And sometimes we don't even know we're in the way.
Yeah. And it forces us to be self-aware. We have grown children in my house and had to have a conversation with them the other day. And in our conversation, I said, I am very aware. Your mom and I are very aware of our stuff. We're very aware of who we are. So one, please forgive us. And two, please listen to us. but it was basically just, we just needed to have one of those just powwows, occasionally you just need to all sit down at the same time and communicate. And that's what we needed to do. And it's like, I'm very aware of what I'm feeling and who I am and how I go about things. And so I'm not trying to come across this way or that way. But, I think being self-aware is important, where so often we like to be self-righteous. But I think it's more important that we become very self-aware.
Yeah, who said, was that Aristotle or Socrates, or who said, know thyself?
Yeah.
It was one of those guys.
I'm not sure.
One of those E's.
Not sure I'm necessarily wanting to be those guys or act like they are, but I do think that's super important to know yourself because, and I actually pray this prayer a lot, God, show me where I'm failing. Not that I want to know that I'm failing, but I want to know if something I'm doing is an obstacle for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I know that's the case. I mean, I'm human, right? So it's got to be, but if I can see that in me, then I can do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm excited that someone's going to proclaim he gets us because he does. Yeah. Even in our own wildness. And I hope that some of you are out there with your little booklets on your 28 days of prayer that the church has provided this year for us to be in the middle of right now. And as we're recording this, it is February, and I've actually snuck ahead and looked at some of them, but they're all really good, or at least the ones I've looked at. And they're sending them out by email. Are they on the website at all?
They are not on the website, but you can get a booklet here at the church, which Mike and Karen Ashley are printing up some more to have some more copies available. We did. We ran out. So if you weren't able to grab one on Sunday, there should be more in the church office now, but they're also sending them out by email. If you'd rather get it that way and you're not, contact the church office so we can make sure you're on that list.
I did not get to pick up a book, and I've got mine in an email format. I've been using that in the mornings to just, I get tons of emails and lots of junk, but I take that and I look at that, and then I spend my quiet time with that. And it works just as well. I mean, I thought that I might want to have a book, but it's just been just as good. And my hesitation, I'll just own up to this and be honest, I'm going to say, okay, well, are these going to be any good? These devotions going to be any good? Because I've come across devotion books that, I just didn't feel like I got a lot out of. And I think probably the real issue was that I wasn't putting enough into it. Because I do believe that all of these things that were picked out, that people spent time on what they would add to the process here.
Yeah.
They prayed about it, that they felt led to give that particular scripture, or for whatever reason.
And I am a firm believer that, I know it sounds a little cliche, but you get out what you put into it. So if your heart's in it and you're focused on what we're supposed to be praying about, and just all coming together and praying for the same things, discernment for the future of the church and a lot of the decisions that need to be made.
And I think for Christian people, it might sound like, well, duh, that's what you're supposed to do. But even for me, like I'm really busy right now. It's a really crazy time. I have intentionally had to tell myself, I'm going to, I don't know what's going to come of this, but I'm going to put myself aside and I'm going to really try and do it and dig into it and leave space, empty space, quiet space for God to speak to me. I'm asking God to give me a thought for the day or to have this connect to me in a special way. And I think it's the amazing mystery of how God and the Spirit works is that for these 28 devotions, for however many hundreds of us there are that will be doing them, he will work some amazing things in each individual person's life. And it could all be the same thing, or it all could be slightly different things. But I really do believe that this could be an opportunity for us as a church to experience a revival of sorts.
Oh, yeah.
Or at the very least, a reconnection with our God.
Yeah. A refocusing, a recentering.
So I don't know if you're going to be listening to this on February 7th or February 8th or 2 million years from now. But the one for February 8th is from the scripture lesson is Ephesians 6:18, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. And then this is the devotion or prayer thought for the day. Prayer is the key that unlocks all the storehouses of God's infinite grace and power. All that God is and all that God has is at the disposal of prayer. But we must use the key, let us pray for all things. And that's from our Kathy Butts, who is on our prayer team. And that's an example of how these run. And they're all done by individuals that are on leadership teams and pastors and things like that.
I think that's one of the things that makes this kind of unique and cool and special is that these devotions are written by the leadership of this church. And so I think that's cool.
So that's cool. Well, that's going on in the month of February. And today we're doing a podcast. And before we get over here to lots of things that are coming up, our next podcast is going to be released, and it's going to be with Miss Vanessa. And I just went blank on Vanessa's last name. Paz. Yeah.
P-A-Z.
Like peace. It means peace.
Yeah. Paz.
From L.A. Dante. She was here on the 5th, and many of us that know her got to spend some time with her, and hopefully you were one of those after the 10:30 service at 11:30 in Hope Hall with the tamales and rice and beans. But we're going to be sitting down with her and visiting with her while she's in town. And so if you're wanting to know kind of what's going on in Nicaragua and with L.A. Dante, we're going to be able to hear more about that. So if you, I know that's a place that holds really great and wonderful, dear things to a lot of people in this church. So she'll be on here soon. And then we have a really great list of folks coming. But for those who know Vanessa or don't know Vanessa, but you're really hooked into L.A. Dante in Nicaragua, that would be a one for you to pay attention to soon.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, what else do we have coming up? Because I know we got a bunch.
We got a bunch of stuff. So we've got our first quarter mission focus going on, which is for Scarlet Rope Project. It's called Fill This House. We're asking that you help us fill the new Scarlet Rope Project house with a bunch of different items. It's things like garbage bags and Dawn dishwashing detergent and things like that. But the list is at the church. You can find that. You'll also be able to find it on the missions page on the website. Yeah. But you can bring those up to the church and place them in the mission box, or just leave them in the church office, and we'll take care of that. But that's going to be going on for the entire month of February. So make sure you help us get that new house stocked.
And
Fill the box.
We talked about it a little bit last week, our last episode. If you're interested in learning more about the Scarlet Rope Project, they do have a website. So it's scarletropeproject.com, I believe. And you can find out more about that. I encourage you to do that. A lot of times we get asked to donate for lots of different things in our lives, but if we know what it's about and we have a connection to it, I think it gives us more motivation to get involved.
And they have a Facebook page too, I believe, which is the same name, Scarlet Rope in Jackson. And they've got lots of pictures of the new house, and it is beautiful. They've done a good job of putting that together.
Let's see. We've also got Parents' Night Out is coming up this Friday night, the 10th. That'll be from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's $5 per child, $10 max per family. Pizza will be served. You can sign up for that on the church app or online, or contact Cynthia Wardlow for more information on that. But that'll be a good chance to get your Valentine's date in a little early, or go shopping, or
beat the van drive rush.
Yeah, beat the van drive rush.
Or get started in your Christmas shopping.
Yeah, or that. I mean, honestly.
Some people have already started, I will tell you.
It is. I mean, it's already February, though.
I know.
You better start, or you're going to be in trouble.
10 months and counting, so.
You better start, or it'll be here.
And aren't the children singing? They're singing sometimes.
The children are singing. They're singing this coming Sunday, February 12th. So.
Nice. That's good. Always fun to hear them sing.
Yes. Before we get there, though, Saturday, there's an event for the kids called Jumping for Jesus. That's at the Fun Zone. Yeah, I know, right? And you can go play arcade games, have some snacks. I think they're going to make some Valentine's Day crafts. But that will be on Saturday, February 11th, from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And you can sign up for that online or on the app as well.
Okay, random thought, because you said play arcade games. And I think Fun Zone has a little bit of an arcade up there, right? So does Nerdvana now. I was
really?
Walking by there the other day at Eating at Moe's, and there's some arcade games in Nerdvana now.
Is it in that back room?
Yeah, I'd call it side. I guess
the side room,
whatever.
The gaming room is what I call it.
Yeah, there's some big games in there.
Well, that's cool.
Big console, traditional arcade games.
I had to
walking by some in the window, and I was like, "What?"
It's been a while since I've been to Nerdvana. I've had to
Do they have
stop
pinball?
myself.
I don't know, but there's a pinball thing coming to Jackson.
A pinball arcade?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh boy!
I just saw it released here not long ago. I can't remember exactly where it's going to be, but there's a pinball arcade. I think it's Pinball Junction. So it's come. Wow. We'll know more about this next time.
Yeah. Put this on your calendars, everyone. Ash Wednesday is February 22nd. That's Wednesday night, obviously, Ash Wednesday. We're going to have dinner at 5 o'clock like normal, but the service this year will be at 6 o'clock p.m., and it'll be in the sanctuary. There's no Bible studies or activities or anything after that.
And Ash Wednesday is
the start of Lent.
And Lent is
the stuff in my belly button.
I knew that was coming somewhere, somehow.
The 40 days. Actually, it's a little more than 40 days because you don't count Sundays. But the 40 days prior to Easter is a time of preparation
and reflection. Yeah,
it's probably one of my most favorite times of the year.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And I think Joy Group has some stuff coming up.
Yes, that's what I was trying to find, my little piece of paper here with all the information, because there's a lot of information here. So Joy Group, our senior group, is doing something kind of cool. They're sponsoring 3 one-day trips, not 3-day trips. 3 one-day trips in 2023, and they are inviting the entire congregation to go with them.
Awesome.
I'll give you some details here in a second, but one of the things is they need some of the money down by the 1st of March. So think about this.
So you don't have to be a senior adult to be a part of this?
Not to be a part of this.
Not
you can
for
be
these trips.
Any age. And there's one of these in particular that I'm very excited about.
Okay.
So the first one is an outing to the Paris Landing Lodge restaurant. That will be on Thursday, March 23rd. They're going to leave the church about 10 a.m. and get back about 2:33. The total cost per person for that is $10. And the deadline for sign up and payment is March 1st.
All right.
This second one, this is the one that I'm real excited about.
Me too.
Is the Mesa Trail Alpaca Farm. Yeah, alpaca farm. It's a fun and educational tour through an alpaca farm. It'll last about an hour and a half for the tour, and this will take place Thursday, June 22nd, and there is a possibility that there will be baby alpacas.
Okay.
So,
okay. Now, where is this Mesa Trail? Where is this?
I believe it's in Henderson County around, Chester County around Henderson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes hour
yeah,
away?
yeah.
And we'll leave the church about 9:30 in the morning, get back about 3:30, and we're going to stop at Ada's Country Store.
What is that?
It's like a...
I feel like the noob around a new guy.
It's a Mennonite.
Is it Mennonite?
Or
I was going to say Amish.
It's one of the other.
One of those.
So it's good cooking.
It's
Home.
It's fantastic. It's like a little general store kind of a thing
Is
as
it
well.
like family style? It's served family
don't
style,
know.
or is it individual order stuff?
They got
It's
me.
individual order
They
stuff.
got me when they said pies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's tons of homemade pies and stuff.
I'm in.
Oh,
I'm in.
yes.
Pies. You have me.
Awesome.
That's worth the trip alone. But total cost for that is going to be about $15 a person. The deadline for sign up and payment for that one is May 1st. So we've got a little time on that one.
Okay.
And then the third one is going to a St. Louis ball game between the Cardinals and the Brewers on September 21st. That's a Thursday. That one's going to be a little more expensive just because we're having to, get transportation to St. Louis and tickets to the ball game and everything.
It's an overnight, is that right?
No.
That one's not. No.
Charter bus.
Thursday
Charter
during
bus.
the day, though.
So we'd leave about 6 a.m. and then return about 10:30 or 11 at night.
Got it.
But that one, tentative cost, because we're not going to know for sure what the tickets are going to cost until after February, but tentative cost is $150 to $200 a person.
Okay.
If you're interested in going to the Paris Landing Lodge restaurant, going to the Mesa Trail Alpaca Farm, or going to the St. Louis ball game, you can contact Ed or Lila Bodkin to sign up and pay for those.
I have a question about the Cardinals games. The Cardinals have been a long-term favorite of a lot of West Tennesseans. When I came to West Tennessee, I found out you either like the Cardinals or you like the Braves.
Right.
But, Major League Baseball is looking at expanding, and their number one place to expand is Nashville.
Really?
So will you be a Cardinals or Braves fan when Nashville gets a team?
Wow. I think that'd probably be determined by your historical bias.
Yeah, I think probably start with young people and build.
Yeah. But that'll be interesting because if they do have a park there now,
They do,
it's
but-
minor league.
Yeah, they're supposed to get a bigger one.
It would have to be either, I would think they'd have to just build another one.
Yeah.
That would be
It would be
interesting.
cool for Tennessee to have like a, major league
they're
team.
they're the number one spot for an expansion team right now.
Wow.
And
And
it
it
looks
would-
like it's going to happen. I mean, it looks like it's pretty well almost a done deal. I mean, like it's a thing now.
It would make sense with the way Nashville's growing and
Yeah.
just that general draw from this area.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour drive from here. It's East Tennessee is not too far.
We say Nashville's growing, but Jackson actually hit the top of the list we are the fastest growing city in the nation.
And
Really?
yeah, we are. On
By what?
on more than just one list.
We need to get the mayor in here so we can talk about
We are
this.
working on getting the mayor.
Okay,
in
we
here.
need to talk about this.
And because we're talking about baseball too, I'm working on getting Miss Lisa Bastion. We're working on a date to get her from the Rockabillys.
Oh, yeah.
And
good.
talk a little bit about Jackson Rockabillys. And so that's going to be fun too.
More reasons to stay tuned to this podcast. and share it.
Oh yeah.
What else we got?
That's all I got on my list for now. That should get us through February at least. So
February.
yeah, stay tuned for more information. Well, guys, thanks for podcasting with me. And thanks to all of you out there in the world for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast. Go to our website, northsidejackson.com, or email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We hope to hear from you soon. Once again, this is Patrick.
This is Glenn.
I'm Kevin.
And that's what's happening at Northside Now.
Bye-bye.